Truman Anderson didn't know what to say for a moment. When Kevin and Lily left the shop, Truman sighed with relief but also a little disappointment. Kevin seemed to have become a gifted appraiser. With training from Frederick Finch, he was far superior to any other young appraisers in the country, let alone in the city of Chicago. Unfortunately, Kevin was already married, and Truman would never want to see his daughter break up a marriage. "Truman, what's the matter with you? You need to let your children find their own way to happiness. There are some things you can't do anything about." Mr. Jordan seemed to be reading Truman's mind. "You're right, but it's tough to let go." Truman shook his head and put the thought out of his mind. When Kevin and Lily walked out of the antique shop, Phoebe and Walter followed closely behind them. "What else can I do for you, Phoebe?" Kevin asked with a smile. "Thank you so much for all your help today. Can I treat you to dinner?" Phoebe really wanted to spend more time with Kevin. "I'm sorry, Phoebe, but I have plans today. Let's get together another time." Since the Night King was coming that evening, Kevin had to buy him the antique sword that was in one of the shops down the street. "I guess we can try another time," Phoebe said nonchalantly. As Walter stood there watching them talk, he wasn't jealous at all. Even his own teacher had been showing respect to Kevin. On top of that, Walter really wanted to get to know Kevin so he could benefit from his advice. "Honey, what do you have going on? I thought we were going antiquing." Lily was unsure about Kevin's plans. "I found out that there's an antique sword next door, and it's really interesting. I decided to go and have a look, and if the price is right, I plan to buy it." Kevin was being deliberately secretive. When it concerned the Night King and the Alliance, the less people knew, the better.
"Let's go over and take a look together. I'd like to learn as much from you as I can."
Walter was sincerely interested. After all, if he didn't have an inquisitive mind, Gabriel wouldn't have taken him on as a student. "Okay, let's go see if they have anything interesting." Kevin nodded his head lightly and led the group into the antique shop next door. As soon as they entered the shop, they could tell it was different from the other antique stores in the neighborhood. Everywhere you looked, there were antique weapons, swords, daggers, shields, pikes, helmets. It was an impressive collection. Some of them were very rare, but a lot of the items would only appeal to very specific tastes. The owner was a thin, middle-aged man who was dozing by the counter. Kevin took Lily's hand and scanned the shop. Finally, his eyes fell on a rusty antique sword that was missing its scabbard. "I'd like to see that sword, sir." Kevin knocked on the counter several times with his knuckles to wake the man up.
$400,000,
the man announced as he yawned.
$400,000 for what? Can't we have a look at it? Walter asked in surprise.
"I'm not in the mood right now." The owner didn't seem to like dealing with the public.
"Is that how you do business?"
Walter was a young and energetic man, and he was getting very angry at the poor service. Kevin gestured at Walter to calm down, and then he spoke to the man with a smile. "Okay, 400,000. Now it's going to cost you 800,000. The man glanced at Kevin with a twinkle in his eye. "Is that how you do business? We're willing to spend $400,000 and then you double the price?" Phoebe was becoming irate. "That's right. What kind of place is this?" Lily took Kevin's hand and pulled him toward the door. "Honey, let's go." "Well, as the saying goes, you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. You're training in herbal medicine, aren't you? Well, my swords are only for customers who are ready to use them. I don't let them go very easily." "That makes sense. 800,000 then?" Kevin agreed with a broad smile. "Kevin!" Phoebe was shocked. "Honey!" Lily was surprised too. They were afraid that Kevin was being cheated. Walter couldn't speak at all. He just stared blankly at Kevin. "Why are you buying this sword?" the man asked Kevin unemotionally. "Well, I think you're right," Kevin replied matter-of-factly. "Since your swords are only for those with talent and ability, I'll let the sword judge me." The shop owner took a long, hard look at Kevin, then he turned around and took the sword off the shelf and put it on the counter. As Phoebe and Walter looked closely at the sword, they seemed a bit disappointed in its condition. Kevin stretched out his hand and trapped the sword with his fingers. The metal seemed to vibrate like a tuning fork, and it took a long time for the tone to dissipate. "It's a good sword. I'll take it." Kevin pulled his black bank card out and placed it on the counter. When he saw the black card, Walter took a deep breath. Now he realized that Kevin had to be loaded. And Walter felt really ashamed about his first impression of Kevin. He was as wrong as he could be. "No, you don't choose the sword. The sword chooses you." The man pulled out a long wooden box and placed the sword in it. "Why are you doing that, sir?" Kevin asked with a smile. "Well, you said that you'd let the sword judge you. Let's see what happens." He pushed the box towards Kevin, and then he sat back in his chair. "I've had enough of this. Let's go, honey." Lily tried to pick up the big box so they could leave, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't even move it. By now, Phoebe and Walter were starting to see how unique this sword was. "I told you that my swords are only for those who are ready for them. Weren't you listening?" Then the man closed his eyes again. "I'll try." Kevin, who was very motivated to have the sword, concentrated his strength. When he put his hand on the wooden box, the store's owner suddenly opened his eyes and a slight smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. All of a sudden, the expression on Kevin's face began to change. He started to feel a bit of a shiver and goosebumps started to pop up on his arms. The wooden box vibrated for a moment. "Thank you, sir," Kevin suddenly exclaimed. "Now, please leave. You've interrupted my nap." When they got outside, they found a place to eat and then drove down to Navy Pier to walk around and have a little fun. Finally, after Walter left with Phoebe, Kevin and Lily went to see a movie before returning home. It had probably been the most enjoyable day they'd spent since they got married. But before he could sleep, Kevin wanted to know more about the antique sword he just bought.
Hi, Kevin here. If you're wondering what happens next, then stay tuned on the Pocket FM Universe channel for more episodes.